Hey everybody, welcome back to JT channel. And your eyes do not deceive you. We have a new co-host here. This is Austin. Say hi. That's him saying hi. Obviously, I'm here to do picks and predictions for Survivor Series Wargames. Sorry, this intro is kind of not normal. This is new to me, trying to do a video with him. But my wife and I talked about it, and she's like, you can do a video with him. Why not? I do them with Brooklyn all the time, but she's also a toddler. But don't be surprised if you see this little guy in videos with me. He doesn't mind hearing me talk. Hi. If he gets fussy or anything, we'll deal with it. But let's go ahead and talk about what we're going to talk about today. I'm back on the channel, and my first video back is this picks and predictions for Survivor Series Wargames taking place tomorrow night. It's going to be a really good show. Only 4 matches. I know a lot of people don't like that about WWE, but I like it because it's a variety, right? I watched Full Gear. Full Gear was, 4.5 hours and an incredible show. I wish I would have gotten around to reviewing it, but obviously I'm awfully busy. But I wasn't going to miss out on this. I've watched a few videos and hot takes and stuff, and I figured, why not? This is kind of the perfect time to jump back in. And I have a lot to talk about when it comes to this show. So let's go ahead and get into it. Obviously, the first thing I want to talk about is the Women's Wargames match. More than likely, this will be the first match on the show. I do think there's an argument that you could put John Cena and Dominic Mysterio at the start for reasons I will discuss when we get to that match. But let's go ahead and just talk about this as that's how WWE normally does it. Women's at the start, men's at the end. And it's, let's see, I don't need the screen, but I'm just, in case I do. It's the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, Becky Lynch, Nia Jax, and Lash Legend taking on Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, AJ Lee, and Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, which means Io Sky is going to jump off the cage with a bin on her head. What's really cool about Io Sky, in my opinion, I've said it before, I'll say it again, she's one of my favorite wrestlers in the entire world. She might be #1. I can't wait to do my Wrestlers of the Year. I know I haven't done that yet on this channel. I don't think I have, but I'm going to this year, and it's going to be, people are going to be upset with me. Io's going to be way up there, if not #1. Plus, she's been in every single Women's Wargames match. This is going to be really good, right? The issue, I made this joke with AEW. The issue is when you give the women the opportunity to do the same matches the men do, is that the women are almost always going to outshine. It's a joke. It's not really a problem. Can't do air quotes. My other arm's busy. But it is true. Every time that WWE has said, okay, let the women do this, let the women do Hell in a Cell, let the women do Last Woman Standing matches, let the women do War Games, Blood and Guts, the women's matches are always better. So while the men's match is going to have cool story beats, I think this will be the better match of the night. There'll be more fun. There'll be probably a lot more plunder, which is a thing with me. I'm biased. I love hardcore matches. I love the weapon usage and stuff like that. So what's interesting to me is that you're putting AJ Lee in this match, her second match back. She's in War Games. I think that's really interesting to do. But the real question is, how does this match end? Who wins? Who pins who? What happens? Considering how I feel about the main event, and there's, spoiler alert for my picks and predictions, usually at these events, the babyfaces win one and the heels win the other. And I strongly have feelings about who's going to win the main event. So for this match, I do think the babyfaces are going to pull it off. I think we're going to get some teases that there might be a heel turn, that Alexa and Charlotte might turn on each other or the team. But in the end, I think they'll all be happy-go-lucky, fun times 9,000, and we'll all be good. I think they'll hug, like big-time hug, like we're friends now hug. I mean, they've been friends, but you know the story. We're not friends. I think Rhea and Charlotte will probably have a really cool moment. Maybe they'll bump into each other, and then they'll go to almost fight, and then they'll double-team Nia Jax through a table or something. It'll be really cool. You think they're going to fall out, and then they don't. And I know they did the DX crotch chop recently together, which I thought was great. I love all this. I love the storytelling. It's all been good. I don't have a great reason why the babyfaces should win, other than it would tell the right story as far as the future goes, because Becky Lynch is probably going to win back that Intercontinental title and go down a feud with AJ Lee for it. I wouldn't be surprised if AJ's a future Intercontinental champion. So you could even have AJ beat Becky, have her tap out or pin her or whatever you want to do. I wouldn't pin Asuka. I think that's the only problem I would have with this match. Anybody else can lose. Anybody else can pick up the win or the loss. Even if the heels want to win this match, you can pin whoever you want. I wouldn't even mind you pinning Rhea Ripley. She could handle it. But Asuka is not in a position right now to where she needs to be pinned. I think that if the heels were going to win, Asuka or Becky Lynch would probably be the ones to pick up the win, unless you're going to do something like AEW is doing. And WWE just isn't in the habit of doing that right now. Not copying AEW, but the habit of giving someone a big push. I wouldn't say out of nowhere, but more or less out of nowhere. Like more or less kind of suddenly. Because in AEW, not to keep talking about AEW, but they decided to give Kyle Riley the ball. They just kind of started putting him in these big matches with the Death Riders, and then they had him beat Jon Moxley in Blood and Guts, and they had him beat Jon Moxley again in a singles match. So if you're going to have something like that happen, it would be with like Kairi Sane or Lash Legend. But I just don't see WWE doing that right now. So I think AJ Lee should be the one to pick up the win. It should probably be over Becky Lynch. I have a lot to say about the Intercontinental title situation because where the hell is Lyra Valkyria? Like, she lost to Becky Lynch because of Bayley, who is now somehow her friend. And while Becky was champion, Lyra couldn't challenge for it. Well, now that she's not champion, Lyra should be front and center. I don't know where she's been, where she's at. Maybe she'll show up during this to kind of screw over the heels, but I still don't think so. I think this will be pretty cut and dry. There'll be some really cool moments, but I do think the babyfaces are going to win. If you're not going to give AJ Lee the win, you should probably give it to Rhea Ripley. Again, you can't really do anything to Rhea. I just don't see the benefit of the heels winning because there's no stakes on the babyface side. Like, yeah, Becky's not the Intercontinental Champion anymore, but if AJ Lee beats her, then Becky can go win the title back. Then AJ can be like, hey, remember I pinned you or made you submit at Wargames? Well, guess what? Same thing with the tag team titles. You've got all these teams, Io and Rhea, Charlotte and Alexa, Lash Legend and Nia Jax. I know they're on the other team, but you have all these teams for the women's tag team titles. If the heels lose, then Charlotte and Alexa, Io and Rhea could be like, hey, we want a tag team title shot. And I don't think that's... I saw some people talking about that and saying that that would be like dropping them on the card, like Rhea and Io, putting them lower on the card. No, it wouldn't. They don't need to, they will always be main eventers. You don't need to keep them right here, right up next to the Women's World Championship, because Stephanie Vaquer is busy anyway, and we're going to talk about that momentarily. But you could put Rhea and Io, or Rio as they're called, into the tag team title scene. That's fine. You could even do, like, I think the only way to kind of, I'm going to be babbling a lot. I have a lot to talk about for the show. I think the only way I'd be okay with Asuka taking the pin is if Rhea or Io are the one to give it to her. No, nothing against Charlotte, AJ, or Alexa. But if you're going to do Asuka taking a loss in War Games, it should be Rhea or Io. Because then you could do those two against the Kabuki Warriors for the tag team titles. And again, if the heels lose, then Nia Jax and Lash Legend can be like, oh my God, we fucking lost. What's wrong with you guys? I do think Becky should take the pin, which is hilarious because she's one of my favorite women's wrestlers of all time. But I think her taking the pin would make the most sense. But if you're going to give... you could also pin Nia or Lash, I suppose, if you want to make it easy. There's also an easy way to get out of the main event, which we'll talk about. But don't always do the easy way. And these are just my picks. I haven't even gotten to my prediction yet. But my pick is for AJ to pin Becky. That's just my opinion. If you're not going to do that, then I guess you could have Rhea pin Asuka. Because, yeah, I think that'd be cool. Or Io. Io pinning Asuka would be really good, too. So, pick-wise, I do think the babyfaces are going to win. Prediction-wise is the same thing. I'm just not going to predict that close to the finish or anything, that close to the heart. I'm just going to say that prediction-wise, I think the babyfaces are going to win. I think that WWE knows what they have right now, and they have ideas for future stories that revolve around AJ Lee, Rio, and Charlotte and Alexa. So my picks are obviously all over the place, but my basic prediction is that the babyfaces pick up the win. I am not sure what order these matches are going to go down in, but I'm going to talk about them in whatever I come up with, which up next I'm talking about John Cena and Dominic Mysterio, the Intercontinental Championship on the line. I'm going to make this really simple as far as my pick and prediction goes. I'm picking Dominic Mysterio and I'm predicting Dominic Mysterio. Now, I was talking to my mother and I've talked to a couple other people and I've watched so much other content about this. Obviously, you're like, where'd the baby go? I put the baby down. I've watched so much content about this, and the overarching idea, and I happen to agree, is that John Cena should probably not lose his last match, right? Like, I guess back before we all kind of knew what was going to go down, we were okay with him losing his last match, going out on his back, putting someone over the top. And then when he won the Intercontinental title, I was like, cool. Whoever wins the tournament can win the Intercontinental Championship. On top of that, talk about strapping the Rockets to somebody's boots and sending him straight to the moon. They beat John Cena and become the Intercontinental Champion in the same night. And then word got out that Gunther's probably going to win the tournament. And it's like, Gunther doesn't need to beat John Cena, and he certainly doesn't need to be Intercontinental Champion again. So, and there's nothing against Gunther. Looking at the field of wrestlers that are on there, I have my thoughts, I have my feelings, I have my opinions. I said from the get-go that it should have been Braun Breaker. He should have faced John Cena. What?
The get-go?
Shut up. From the get-go, I said it should be Braun Breaker. I guess I was trying to say that's what my gut was telling me. I thought that on December 13th, the main event, Braun Breaker, John Cena, Braun should have killed him. Braun should have Brock Lesnar'd him and then pinned him 1, 2, 3 and, rah, rah, woof, woof, and done whatever he does. But that's not what we're getting. That's fine. Not a big deal. But since we all know it's going to be Gunther, I think that John Cena should probably win. John Cena is one of the greatest of all time. He's always going to go down as one of the biggest personalities. I know I'm going to get a lot of shit for this, but he's up there with The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin and Hulk Hogan as far as the size of his personality. He'll always have that no matter what. No matter how many of you people still want to chant he can't wrestle, even though he definitely can. Excuse me. But I kind of talked too long about other stuff. This could also be huge for Dom. I said earlier in the year that the only time John Cena should have lost this year was to Cody Rhodes and in his last match. Well, he lost to Cody Rhodes and he lost to Brock Lesnar in one of the worst matches of the year. Maybe the worst match of the year in any promotion. With that being said, now that I'm looking at what's going on with the rest of his career and how 2025 has gone, I think Dominic should beat him. I do not think Dominic should beat him clean. I think there should be some Judgment Day interference and Rey Mysterio should be there. But in the end, I do think Dominic Mysterio should beat John Cena, even if it's with a surprise roll-up. Like, just a roll-up with the tights or a backslide or something after a bunch of interference. I wouldn't mind Dom hitting the 619, the frog splash, getting the 1, 2, 3. But it's Dominic Mysterio. He's on his way to being a babyface. He pretty much is now, but he's still with the heel faction. So you could still do heel stuff with him, and no one would mind. Especially, like I said, honestly, pick-wise, I think that's how you should do it. I think you should do the roll-up. I think that you get the Judgment Day out there, you get Rey Mysterio out there, you get maybe Sheamus. Remember, they won that 6-man tag, so maybe you have all these people fighting. John gets distracted, and Dom catches him 1, 2, 3.
7, 8, 9.
And John's like, I know that's less impactful, but I think for the character of Dominic Mysterio, it would make more sense because he could still run around saying he beat John Cena. It's just we would all know, yeah, but it was distraction roll-up nonsense, you fuck. So I think that'd be the fun way to go about it. Personally, I'd rather he just beat John Cena. 619, frog splash, uno, dos, tres, we're done here. But I think something like that, prediction-wise, that's what I think is going to happen. I think there will be a lot of shenanigans, and Dom will steal the win, and then John's not going to win the title back. We're not going to get the rematch. And then we'll go on to December 13th, and John Cena should win his last match. Again, nothing against Gunther. It's more a slight on WWE because Gunther retired Goldberg, and he hasn't spoken about it once. He kind of disappeared off the face of the earth and then showed back up for the John Cena tournament because he wants to retire John Cena too. You could do a Legend Killer style gimmick with Gunther. They're going to call him Legend Killer, but he could go out there, he retires Goldberg, he retired John Cena. Maybe he goes after like AJ Styles. I'd love it if he could cross over to like Japan because is it Tanahashi that's retiring at Wrestle Kingdom? Like, I know it's not WWE. I know it's a completely different thing. That's AEW's wheelhouse. But I'm just saying, he could work with these wrestlers that are on the way out and keep being like, I'm taking you down and taking you down. But I just don't think it'll work. Now that we're getting closer to it, I also don't think people are going to accept it. I know I'm talking about something that isn't the Survivor Series, but I think it's important to speak about it And plus, I haven't made a video like this in forever, so I haven't had to really give my thoughts. But I don't think the fans would accept Gunther beating John Cena. Not anymore. So I think Dom beating John Cena makes a lot of sense. And then we can all look forward to the last time show John Cena mega event on Saturday night's main event, whatever it's called. I think it's just called Saturday night's main event, but I've said it before. Many people have said it before. They should have had a pay-per-view called the John Cena Show. just had some matches that ended with John Cena's last match. So all that babbling aside, my pick is Dominic Mysterio by roll-up, and my prediction is that Dominic Mysterio is going to win anyway. But I think WWE will have him go ahead and hit all his moves or whatever. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think Dom is going to be a 2-time Intercontinental Champion, and then we'll probably move into a feud with his dad. I'm in a terrible spot for this one. I just picked the Monday night recently where Nikki Bella attacked Stephanie Vaquero on the stage. So Stephanie's laying on the floor there. But I picked this image for a reason, because up next we're talking about the Women's World Championship match, Nikki Bella, Stephanie Vaquero. Another one you guys may not like, because my pick is Nikki Bella. Prediction-wise, I'm kind of on the fence. I'm not sure what WWE is going to do, because they have a long history of turning someone heel or babyface or whatever, and then having them lose, which is a giant waste of time in my opinion anyway. Like, why would you change your viewpoints and then just fail? Sorry, I had to go get a drink of water. But yeah, so I'm not sure what WWE has in mind. So prediction-wise, I'm kind of on the fence. Pick-wise, though, I think it makes a lot of sense for Nikki Bella to win this. I think she signed a contract for like 4 or 5 years and has said that this is her last contract. Like, she just wanted to do one last run, which one last run doesn't always mean one last year. I saw some really ignorant people that can't read or speak English very well saying that she's trying to copy her ex-boyfriend because her and John Cena used to date. But that's not what she didn't say. She's doing like one last year. She just says this is her last run. So it's going to last the entirety of her contract, which again, I think is 4 or 5 years. Might be 5 years. So she'll be in and out for the next few years. So why not? Why not let her win the World Heavyweight Championship one time? Maybe even twice. And plus, I think taking it off of Stephanie, she's one of those baby faces that you might enjoy her on the chase more often than she is the champion, which is something that WWE did a lot with Stone Cold. Like, if you go look back at the record books and stuff like that, the non-existent record books, Stone Cold didn't hold the title all that often, and when he did, he never held it for super long. I guess by today's standards anyway. And that's because people always enjoyed rooting for him more than like celebrating him being the champion. That's like the best example I can think of. That's the example that I always see brought up when we talk about people who chase the title. So I'm not trying to put Stephanie Vaquero and Stone Cold Steve Austin in the same brackets, but I think Stephanie is a very endearing babyface that you can cheer for and root for a lot. And once she wins the title, you can still cheer for her and root for her when she's defending it, but it's not the same because she is the champion. Whereas if she gets the title taken from her, then we can work back up. I do think she should be champion at WrestleMania. So whoever wins the Rumble has to face her. I have a whole plot outline for the Royal Rumble that we will not talk about here. That'll be a later date and time conversation. But I think that Stephanie Vaquero should be the champion at WrestleMania. So Nikki Bella can take it and maybe hold it to like the Royal Rumble. That's not too long. It's a decent, couple months title reign. It's nice to see titles change hands after so many champions held the title for so long. We had that era of long title reigns. Now we should be in the era of shorter/average title reigns. A couple of months. Like 6 months, 3 months, stuff like that. Even a month or two would be fine. I'm not saying hot potato titles, but also hot potatoing a title for a little while wouldn't hurt. Like Stephanie Vaquero hasn't been champion super long because, of course, Naomi had to relinquish it. You then give it to Nikki Bella for let me get my words right here. Stephanie holds it for a few months, and Nikki can hold it for a few months, and Stephanie can hold it for a few months. She should probably lose it at WrestleMania. It just changes things up a bit. That's how I think it should go. Predictions-wise, I don't know, and I hate saying that. Like, I've seen a lot of people predict that Nikki Bella's going to win. It's WWE. I know Triple H is better at this than Vincent Kennedy McMahon was, but that doesn't mean he's perfect. So I'm going to leave the predictions in the air. I know I don't like doing that, but I've done it before. I'm just being honest with you guys. I don't want to predict something if I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do, but picks-wise, I do think Nikki Bella should be the new Women's World Champion. Couldn't find a great thumbnail, background, whatever for this match, but it's the men's War Game matchup, last match of the night, which I know, again, some people don't really like the fact that WWE only does 4 matches. I think it's great as long as they're all good matches. But we got the Vision, which is Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, teaming with Logan Paul. I don't think he's a permanent member of the Vision. Drew McIntyre and Brock Lesnar taking on Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Jimmy, and Jey Uso. This is the one, like I said, I think the women's match will be more entertaining, but I think this will be the one with all the story beats. Like, can Roman, Cody, and Punk all get along on the same page? Same thing with Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Brock Lesnar. That's what I think anyway. So, it's the age-old, how are they going to coexist thing, which I know we all got tired of at one point, but this will still be good. Those will be some really good spots. People will do big moves. We'll have lots of cool double teams. This is the one where a lot of people think someone is going to turn for sure. Jey Uso. Everyone thinks Jey is going to turn heel. If WWE wants to do that, I hope they don't do it until the match is over. I don't want the finish to be soiled by a Jey Uso heel turn. I think that won't do any good, especially because if he turns heel during the match, then the babyface is just going to beat his ass. Like, where's he going to go? It wouldn't make any sense if he, like, attacks Jimmy and Roman Reigns just stares at him. Like, they're going to have to kick his ass in War Games. So it would make more sense if they lose, because that's, I told you guys earlier, kind of spoiler alert, I do think that the babyfaces will win one and the heels will win the other. I think the babyfaces are going to win the women's match. So here, I think the Vision and the Vision and Friends, are going to win this one. So if you're going to have Jey turn heel, you have them lose, and then when the cage raises and the Vision is celebrating, you have him super kick or spear somebody. If you're going to do that, I know I haven't gotten in my picks and predictions yet. I told you I had a lot to talk about. I'm on Babble mode today. If you're going to do that, if you're going to have Jey turn heel, you do it. I don't think you have him attack Jimmy. I think you have him attack Roman. I think that if the babyfaces lose, like I think they should, and Jimmy or Roman takes the pin, in my opinion, then you have Jey, if you want to turn him heel, attack Roman. You have him spear Roman, and then you have Jimmy get in his face, and then he like shoves Jimmy and then leaves like he did that one week on Raw where he just shoved Jimmy and was like, shut the fuck up. And then you could redo Roman and Jey in like a mini feud. I know that's weird. That's a crazy prediction. I think I'm the only person I've seen say that, but I think that's what would go over the most interestingly. The cheap, easy way out of this match is you have somebody pin Jimmy, and then Jey turns on Jimmy, we redo that match, which a lot of people didn't like that match. I haven't been back to watch it all that much, but I do understand that it wasn't good. The thing about pro wrestling and pro wrestlers is if they have a bad match, no one knows it more than they do. They don't even need to know your opinion. Like, yeah, I'm sure they check Twitter and social media and the overall reaction, but they don't need it. Nobody knows more than they do if they had a bad match or 2 or 3. So I guarantee you for the last 2 years, almost 2 years now, that Jimmy and Jey have been beating themselves up about how that match wasn't that good. So it wouldn't surprise me if Jey turns on Jimmy on the way to WrestleMania and we get that rematch. But we don't need it. My pick for this match is very simple. And yes, I may or may not have stolen this from Simon Miller. But I had the same thought process before I watched his predictions video. And after he said it, I realized that, yeah, I want to stick to that. Braun Breaker should win and he should pin CM Punk. And then, if I've been talking about the future, Braun Breaker should probably be World Heavyweight Champion going into WrestleMania. I don't think we need to wait any longer. He's been around long enough. He's been on the main roster long enough. You don't have Seth around right now. Logan Paul isn't going to stay in the Vision anyway. I think that's what you do. I think you crown Braun Breaker as World Champion, probably at the Royal Rumble. It's in Saudi Arabia, and WWE wants to give Saudi Arabia everything. So you give them a big title change, unless the Saudi prince doesn't want that. That's what's crazy. The crazy thing is if Triple H books a certain thing, but Saudi Arabia doesn't want it to happen, it won't. Another reason I hate those fucking shows. But another conversation for another day. Regardless, I think that Braun Breaker should dominate in this match. I think he should take out, tons of people. He should survive stuff that no one else should. Like, I want him to take like a spear through a table or something, and then him just pop right back up, scream like an angry, crazy alien monster person, and then just spear everyone straight to hell. Other than that, there's things, just like with the opening, the women's one, I don't think Asuka should be pinned unless it's, by Io or Rhea. I don't think Drew McIntyre should be pinned by anybody. Drew McIntyre does not need to lose this match. I know he's going to be on the losing team no matter what if his team loses, but don't pin Drew McIntyre. If you're going to have the babyfaces win, which I understand, you have 4 world champions, and that's crazy. It's 4 of the biggest personalities in the company. Not that Jimmy's not a big personality, but I wasn't talking about Jimmy Uso. It's Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso. 4 massive egos, massive personalities, all being crushed into one team. So you could have them win, and no one would blink an eye. But I think it's more exciting if they lose. Especially if, like I said, someone like a Braun Breaker pins a champion. I wouldn't have anybody pin Cody Rhodes unless, again, they're going to go after that title. And let's just say that is what happens. If Braun Breaker pins Cody Rhodes, are we really going to believe that he's going to take the title off Cody? Why is it more believable he can take the title off Punk? I don't know, but I'm right. That if Braun Breaker was to win a title, it's more believable that he wins the World Heavyweight Championship from CM Punk than it is the WWE title from Cody Rhodes. WWE's worried that they're going to tease a match between Cody and Roman that they don't have on the cards right now. Nobody cares. Everyone just loves nostalgia. I know that it's only been a couple of years since, not even a full 2 years. Sorry about my throat. I've been coughing up phlegm for half a month. But it hasn't been that long since it happened. But we're all nostalgic for that feeling, how we all felt during the Cody-Roman feud that went on for 2 years. Now that they're on the same team, we can't help but be excited. And they already can't really get along because they're arguing over who the captain is. Is it Cody? Is it Punk? Roman doesn't give a crap. It's probably Roman. But he said one of those belts will look real good on me. So that's cool too. Is he talking about Cody Rhodes? He's talking about CM Punk. I'd love a third match between Roman and Cody. Are you kidding me? They have incredible chemistry. And again, the nostalgia of their feud from a couple of years ago would come washing over all of us. And we'd be like, oh man, it'd be the same thing with CM Punk. Remember all the stuff he did with the Shield back in the day? Oh man, great stuff there. I'm not trying to overbook this match, but I do think that the babyfaces winning doesn't really benefit anybody. Just like the heels winning in the opening match. I don't think that benefits anybody. So I think the heels should win. I think Braun Breaker should pick up the win over CM Punk, and we should just go down that route. Just give Braun Breaker the World Heavyweight Championship, and if Seth is feeling up to it, that should be the WrestleMania match. Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker for the world title. If he's still out, because I don't know how bad his injury is, do whatever you want. Just keep Braun Breaker at the top of the card. Predictions-wise, I also predict that the heels are going to win. I do think WWE knows it's the right thing to do. I know I keep talking about things I don't want to happen, and that's just because I'm trying something new. I'll just be honest. I want to cover things I do want, things I don't want, and then my base picks and predictions. Brock Lesnar shouldn't win. Brock Lesnar shouldn't even be involved in this match. I understand why he is. I understand his level of star power. I can feel the energy come out of my screen every time he comes out. Crowds just go nuts. You know how I feel about him. You know how I felt about his match at WrestlePalooza. I obviously reacted the same way that everyone else did when he first returned. Was it SummerSlam, 2 years, whatever. I don't care for him anymore, but he's going to have some cool spots. I personally think it'd be really funny if Brock and Roman start this. That's how I think it should start. I know it would piss some people off, including me, because I'm like, I don't want to see this again. I'm tired of Brock and Roman. But also, it'd be funny. It'd be great if Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns start this match. I don't know who's going to start it, but it's going to be good stuff. The only other thing I would want to talk about is I've seen a few people, little conversations saying that maybe LA Knight could get involved. because he was up in the world title picture with everybody, and then everyone just kind of forgot about him, and he's had this little feud with Jey Uso, so he could pop up in it. I realized I didn't talk about Brie Bella showing up in the Nikki Bella match, probably because I don't think it's going to happen. But yeah, I guess LA Knight could show up. I don't think he is. I'm going to put it on the lower end of an 80-20. 80% chance we don't see LA Knight, because what's the point? But there's a 20% chance maybe he shows up and screws over Jey Uso. You can continue that feud on, I suppose. But that, I believe, is it. Prediction, again, babyfaces lose this one. So, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Leave comments down below. It's good to be back. I made a joke right before I started this video to my wife. It's like, 4 matches. I'm going to talk for 30 minutes. It's literally been 30 minutes. There's just a lot to talk about, because coming out the other side of Wargames, there is so many stories from every match. Wargames always can split off into multiple stories. The Women's World Title, Dom and John, everything coming out the other side, going into 2026, going into the Rumble and WrestleMania 42. I think it all starts tomorrow at Survivor Series Wargames. So let me know what you think about all this. It's good to be back. I don't know how often I'm going to be back. I have some games I want to play. One of my favorite YouTubers played a horror game that I've been wanting to play. That's on the PlayStation Store that I just haven't gotten bought or played. So hopefully there'll be some gaming content coming up, more stuff like this, and the 2-year anniversary, end of year wrestling stuff. It's just good to be back. It's good to be back. You guys will be seeing more of me and probably more of my son, because sometimes he just has to be here. Until next time, this is JT Channel. I am JT. Again, thank you so much for being patient and joining me for this one. I'll see you in the next one.